Thank you for watching this reflection on your CPD. This video has been put together really at the request of SASC for all SASC accredited training and is designed for you to think about what you might wish to use in terms of your reflections to complete your SASC CPD log. So the idea of this is to gain the maximum benefits in terms of reflections for all SASC training you might undertake. Prior to participating in any CPD activity, it's important to remember that reflective analysis is essential. As a professional, reflective practice is the cornerstone of your practice. It's always best to ask yourself a simple question: what do you hope to learn by attending the course? So, for example, when we set up the RISE-2 training, I was particularly interested in how it might be similar or different to the RIT because there's so many underlying ability tests or new intelligence tests that SASC is now providing. So that was one of the questions I asked myself before attending the training. So those sort of questions are the things you might want to ask yourself if you're going forward. To help you do that, we do provide a sheet of paper, so you can just reflect on what you hope to learn by attending the training and what you hope to get in terms of what you might want to learn. So in my case with the RISE-2, I was thinking, well, there might be some similarities between the RIT or not. So that's sort of the question I asked myself. After you have concluded and you've finished the training, how do you think you might apply what you've learned to your professional practice? This is quite important because you do need to think about obviously using it, and certainly attending the RISE-2 training made you think we'd have to think quite carefully about replacing the RIT, because all these new underlying ability intelligence tests are quite distinct and have quite clear features. So it made me think much more, if I was moving forward, how I would see the role of intelligence and underlying ability element of that in any assessment of dyslexia, because I think you have to have a fairly good understanding of the theoretical model of this going forward, and certainly attending training helps you do that. So that's what I learned if I was renewing my SASC practicing certificate. So relevant forms will be emailed when joining instructions and recording links for live events, and on-demand events will have forms available within the handout. So these will all be available for you on doing a Patoss training course. And here is the one you could apply at the end, thinking what you might apply once you've actually thought about it. It doesn't have to be filled in straight away. It's to help you think in your practice and help you to think going forward, to make sure that when you do for your CPD login, you're not looking at a blank piece of paper. You actually give you some time to think about your practice. So once you've done that, you can save CPD certificate somewhere safe. Go to your account on the Patoss website, upload it, my CPD certificate and supporting information. So it's all there ready for you to submit your log for your CPD SASC renewal process. So you are required to, if you want to maintain your assessment practice certificate for each 3-year period of license expiry, your CPD log covers the 5 areas shown on the next slide. 1, principles of psychometric assessments and underlying theory. SASC training should cover this requirement. SASC C2, SPLD testing methods and interpretation and test materials. Once again, SASC training should cover these 2 requirements. There are supplementary areas. So if you're attending things like an access course, which is looking at updates in terms of the regulations, you can add that as a supplementary area. If you're attending training that looking at research, like conferences, like the recent SASC conference, all that will be used to update your S2 to show evidence that you're actually up to date in terms of research. There's a large amount of teaching courses available on the Patoss website, both free and paid, and they can be used to show that you're supporting your understanding of your general practice. So you would have a good idea to make recommendations, because you might have done an SW1 course, for example, in structured word reading, structured word instructions, or a morphology course, or Norton Gillingham course, what we recently put on. It's anything you might have attended that shows that you're confident enough to make a recommendation in a diagnostic report, you can obviously put in. So copies of certificate must be kept in case there is a requirement to see an audit. Any of APC awarding bodies may request a record of your portfolio of evidence anytime. It's not routinely checked. It's not something they will be checking every time, but it's worth keeping up to date. You should retain your training record and portfolio of evidence for a period of at least 6 years. And in particular, if there was any issue or there was any dispute, if you did something that you claimed you'd watched from a SASC approved training course, that would need to be investigated. So if you were doing something that was contradictory to what might be in the publisher's guidance, then obviously you claim that came from a SASC accredited training course, whoever the provider was, that would need to be investigated. So, I mean, but these things are very rare, but you'd want to make sure all the evidence is available there. So please do keep this. And it's good practice anyway, because it can show that, you're knowledgeable, up to date, and I think will make you more confident as an assessor. So you can go onto the website and you can get much more information on the APC renewal process from the website. It's constantly being updated. It will soon be updated with its own very detailed descriptions of how to fill your CPD login and much more detailed descriptions of the APC process itself, step by step. So this is all will be available free of charge on the website. So please do check it regularly and make sure that before you submit your APC, that you've watched this, you've invested your time into looking what's on the website, because this will reduce any administrative errors. And sometimes there are administrative errors around CPD logs. It's natural to feel slightly pressurized anyway when anyone looks at your practice. It's not, however brilliant you might be, it's the nature of anyone examining our work is always going to be slightly pressurized. And I think so you want to try and reduce the sort of errors that might come back on terms of questionings around how you keep the CPD log, etc. And as long as you're showing reflection and you're showing you are up to date in terms of your CPD log, it's one area that you wouldn't have to think about, and you can really focus on making sure that your assessment work is in line with the SASC guidance and the APC requirement. Thank you for watching.